Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Propagandacast with me, your handsome host, Imperial Dane, and welcome to another 1 vs 1 on Semois. Yes, indeed, we'll be having another trip to the city of Semois, or suppose any sort of French town somewhere in the French countryside. I suppose it's nicely representative. Otherwise, of course, we're going to have to sort of fight with the logical issue of I don't know how many fights being taken on in the very same town somewhere in France by, I don't know how many armies, and that doesn't quite make sense. So of course we just use the power of imagination to sort of imagine there's sort of a lot of towns like this, right, in France. Unimaginative, those French, aren't they? Anyhow, of course, for those that are aware of how Semois is built up, I suppose there's no need to explain, but then again, for those that don't, I might as well just briefly sketch it out. We sort of have the map divided into 3 zones, if you will. We have the sort of home zone for each side, right here and here, each containing 1 fuel point, which is also the only medium fuel point right here and there, and some munitions points right at the base, both medium as well, here and here, although this one is slightly better than this one due to some sort of terms of routes, but let's not get stuck up at that. But these are sort of the home zone. This is not mostly where the fighting is going to be. There will be some harassment, in particular for the Wehrmacht players. They will be heavily harassed here by any sort of decent American commander, or generally not even decent ones, but aggressive ones. They will try to hit there. A Wehrmacht commander can try to hit there. In fact, I have a game with that I will be showing you somewhere in the near future, but that's not tonight day. That will be to another day. Then of course we have sort of the middle zone, the zone of conflict, where most of the fighting will be happening, usually also around this map, although sometimes you will be seeing an attempt at sort of pinning in right here, or possibly right here. Usually don't see here or there, because it's actually a lot bloody harder. Due to partially there's not really any buildings that sort of facilitate it quite as easily. This one can't in fact cover all of this, plus there's more points of entry, whereas this of course is sort of the usual one, also because it's so close to the enemy base, which of course will also force them out on some rather longer maneuvers to sort of pull anything off. But that is of course another matter. We usually see this being a sort of fighting zone. Of course also all 3 victory points are in fact in sort of this conflict zone right there in the center. Also where most of the other points are, where also in fact 2 high munitions points are right here and there, jolly good, and some low fuel points right there, but again not quite as the same as a medium fuel point, and in particular not when it's so close to the base. Let's go have a look at our opponents. In the northern corner we are seeing Pattonslayer. Rommelslayer is someone else. In fact, it's the same guy. Why he has 2 accounts is beyond me. But then again, sort of having Rommelslayer slaying Americans or Britons, I suppose might be sort of odd. So I suppose we could give him that. But nonetheless, here is Pattonslayer leading the 21st Panzer Division, one of the divisions that had been parked in France for quite some time, alongside the 352nd Grenadier Division, and just like that had been suffering from some pretty severe equipment shortage when it was put together, which rather led to the creation of what we know in the game as the Geschützwagen, which was actually an assault gun. Some people though seem to think of it as a sort of Marder 1. It wasn't. Anyhow, fighting him shall be elements of the 7th Armored Division, led by Planesarecrashing. That's quite a lovely name, but nonetheless here he is. 7th Armored Division, Desert Rats, ready to crash towards the 21st Panzer Division, which itself had come from North Africa as well, although not in quite as full pieces, and in fact the division had to be reconstituted from all the wounded and, well, people on leave, since it was torn to bits in North Africa mostly. So let's get on with this. I said let's get on with this, you stupid start button. Don't have me sent to the Eastern Front as well. And we are seeing the jolly good old start with some pioneers and a Wehrmacht quarters. Nothing unusual there. In fact, it's pretty usual there, in particular since, of course, the pioneer spam sort of strategy has been heavily curtailed by the fact that you need a Wehrmacht quarters or something else before you can get the Kampfkraft center. So that, of course, is a fun thing. We are seeing some recon section troops, of course, swiftly heading towards this fuel point. Most likely we will be seeing the headquarters command truck setting up right here. And And apparently these two chaps don't like this map, and personally I actually like it, but then again that's personal preference. Some players excel on some maps, others don't do so well in other maps. That's sort of again the thing about human personalities. Some things suit us well, others not, and again that also comes to sort of how and where you fight. And it seems like Pattonslayer has only been fighting mostly with the Panzer. Of course, this shall be a sort of change in him, not quite as swiftly aggressive formation as the Panzer, but then again they do have a bit more in support weapons and a bit more in terms of direct punch, whereas the Panzer is more about maneuvering about, which of course a lot of people forget and just blob up on Panzer Grenadiers. But there we go, setting up right here for this fuel point. Lieutenant sneaking about to take this point. Jolly good. Of course he will really be needing some sort of infantry section to sort of help him up, otherwise he's going to swiftly find himself shot dead. Volksgrenadiers heading towards the central sector, and the munitions point here. Jolly good show. Volksgrenadiers could again easily sort of represent any sort of low quality troops, or again replacement troops. Then again I do believe that the 21st Panzer Division had actually also gotten some rather low quality troops all of a sudden, some fortress troops to sort of act as Panzer Grenadiers, which probably wouldn't have done so well since fortress troops were usually either old men or people with some sort of defect. Usually there was something called the stomach battalion, which were basically men who needed a rather special diet because the stomach couldn't really handle anything serious. We are seeing the British moving in from the south, infantry section hitting there right as the lieutenant's moving through here. Jolly good show, good timing. And we are seeing further Volksgrenadiers hitting the fields, so that's of course a good start. And we are seeing a Schwimmwagen out for the Wehrmacht. That's actually pretty rare. I've rarely seen it myself. I don't really use it either, since I prefer the slightly faster bike. And by faster I mean it's cheaper and of course faster out. We are seeing the recon section moving about here, perhaps spotting the Volksgrenadiers and getting away. Volksgrenadiers firing away from the shrubbery, but no, the recon section gets behind the house and takes the fuel point there. At the same time, we are seeing an infantry section moving through here with the support of a lieutenant. No, perhaps what? And we are seeing they are taking up position in the church, going right there. Volksgrenadiers are apparently turning this cafe into a small fortress via the amazing power of barbed wire, denying them any cover. Good show there, although they are taking a bit of fire. Of course, be careful with that, doing any sort of action like that, because your troops will be easy to hit. And as you might notice there, the Volksgrenadiers are in fact taking quite a bit of damage. But there we go, getting behind cover, although this is not really going to be a good engagement for them. They have already taken quite a bit of damage, and they would probably be better off either getting some support swiftly. There we go. But a Bren carrier is moving in, and now the recon sections is charging in as well. The Wehrmacht forces are quite in a bit of a bind. These Volksgrenadiers are heavily wounded. The other ones are getting cut in a trap now, as a recon section and a Bren carrier moving in from the south. We are seeing the Schwimmwagen moving in, heroically opening up on the lieutenant. Schwimmwagen moving in for the kill. And there we go, but no, the lieutenant dodges around and gets into the house of God. And the Volksgrenadiers are quickly forced away by the dashing reconnaissance section from the 7th Armoured, and of course this sneaky little Bren carrier. Volksgrenadiers are getting cut down on the retreat. We are seeing in fact 4 Volksgrenadiers killed, and absolutely no losses for the British. In fact, that's what you call a pretty good engagement if you're the British. If you're the Wehrmacht, that's a pretty terrible engagement, in fact, since that was probably about 80 manpower down the drain while inflicting absolutely no damage. MG42 setting up a bit too close though to the front, setting up in heavy cover, but then again remember, cover is directional, and of course the gunner here himself in fact will be quite exposed. And there we see the Bren carrier crashing through the wooden fences, ready to crush the Hun, perhaps figuring that those fences could have been crowd-made, but probably not. Coming under fire from the Schwimmwagen and the MG42. Schwimmwagens and bikes in fact do quite well against Bren carriers and can get up in a good position, and the usual counter to Bren carriers in fact is getting either a bike or a Schwimmwagen and then firing away. Of course, don't stand in front of it, in particular if it has the 30 caliber Vickers machine gun upgrade, otherwise your Schwimmwagen or bike will be turned into Swiss cheese. And we are hearing some pioneers coming under fire, trying to lay down a mine, but again remember, they will be more exposed. Oh dear, and we are seeing rifle grenadiers moving in up close, and there we go, execution style on the pioneers. And the pioneer team was lost. That was rather unfortunate, taking up position here, and of course this is a good position, although they might want to move away from here again. Note, this window does absolutely nothing. This building has 2 blind angles, it's called the sides. Here and here, they can't fire out. Here on these broad sides, it can on the other, but again, not here and here. So keep that in mind. If someone has decided to entrench this position, get through here and you'll have a nice spot. This building is in fact a lot better, in particular if you can get an MG42 up. And that's usually how you see the Wehrmacht pin in a player. Set up an MG42 here, have fun. But the Wehrmacht forces of the 21st Panzer Division has broken through here in the center once more. MG42 moving in, ready to support. Volksgrenadiers moving about. Perhaps a bit more barbed wire. And perhaps that Schwimmwagen could be moving a bit more in the front, ready to alert the rest of the forces about any imminent attacks. God damn it. My apologies for the harsh words. Words? Oh, bother. My tongue seems to be acting up a bit. But Krieg barracks going up, not a bad idea. Generally you want to be a bit faster, in particular again on a map like this, where they can easily get a supply truck, which of course means a steward rather awfully fast, in which case of course you need a Pak 38 to put the fear of the Wehrmacht into those British bastards. And we are seeing rifle grenades flying through the air. And there we go, getting the rifle grenadiers out of the church, but the machine gunners out of the church. Not rifle grenadiers, oh dear. I really seem to be a bit off. Pulling back the machine gunners, jolly good show there. Back towards the Volksgrenadiers. Again, good show, keeping your support units near your infantry. Perhaps some sandbags here could be of help. But no. Pack getting ready and a half-track. Looks like these Volksgrenadiers will be equipped with the MP40, machine pistol and 40, and the Schwimmwagen ready to provide a bit of support as well in case the... Oh dear, that's a Stuart light tank there and will not be able to do anything there. And the Schwimmwagen trapped in the cemetery. Will the cemetery be the graveyard of the Schwimmwagen? Oh dear, it looks like it. Get out of there, Schwimmwagen. Get out of there. You can't do it. Your bravado shall not save you. Oh dear. One shot by the Schwimmwagen still lives, and it's trying to hit in the rear. That's certainly rather bold. But I fear it shall avail it nothing, and there we go. Schwimmwagen blown up. A small bonfire in the corner of the cemetery, lighting it up in a most eerie fashion. Woo. Yes, they shall be telling stories forever after about the haunted Schwimmwagen wreck by the Semois cemetery, I suppose. Anyhow, Volksgrenadiers lining up again for counterattack. Pack moving in. Pioneers having laid down a mine here. Perhaps a bit further here would be nice. Perhaps around this strategic point. Just a suggestion. We are seeing this Bren carrier now carrying about the lieutenant. A good move here, since the Bren carrier apparently can't completely protect any unit inside it, despite the fact that this lieutenant is looking rather exposed. But there we go. And of course it means he can of course be much more mobile with his command radius, and of course more protected, since of course the Bren carrier will be knocked out first, but the lieutenant will still be breathing. And looks like a mortar pit is going up right in the middle of the road. That's a bit unfortunate. Of course we'll be blocking movement for the British there. And looks like we are seeing something going up here. Could it be the rifle grenadiers? Perhaps would not be a bad move. Then again, Bren gunners wouldn't be either. Half-track charging it, full of Volksgrenadiers, but no pioneers to actually man it. Grenadiers hitting the field as well. More infantry is good. No, it is in fact Bren gunners. Jolly good show there. Lots of light machine guns. Half-track coming under fire, but no, it ignores the chaps inside there, I hope. Instead engaging the reconnaissance section, which is unable to defend itself against the might of the Sonderkraftfahrzeug. A mine being set off by a rogue Briton who had decided he wanted to go on another path. Stuart taking 5 Volksgrenadiers will have to jump out and give that Stuart a good serving of Panzerfaust. Come on, but no, he ignores it. Or perhaps he's just trying to get back to friendly lines. Oh dear, oh dear. Taking further fire from his Stuart light tank, and the Pack awfully close to the mine, which is awfully damaged. In fact, be careful about that being too close to your own mines. In fact, if they are damaged, because what will then happen? You set it off and then you lose some units. That is of course the double-edged side of the mines. This recon section moving in, and the half-track making a dash for it. And what is this? Rifle grenade flying through the air, setting off the mine and blowing up the half-track. That was absolutely unfortunate. But then again, that does happen when close to damaged mines. And a mortar round killing several Volksgrenadiers and causing the entire Wehrmacht force to retreat rather hastily. That went rather badly, rather quickly, and he still hasn't been able to really manage any heavy casualties on the British. Again, I do believe 2 Panzerfausts here could have done some nicely work against that Stuart light tank. And now the MG42 inside this building is getting mortared. Not looking good at all for the Wehrmacht forces. In fact, I do believe it's time to have a look at our British friend. Planes are crashing. Volkswagen is getting reinforced. No doctrine for our British friend. And I do believe we are seeing an armoured command truck setting up right here on this munitions point. Lots of munitions for the British, in fact. Now those sappers just need to get to work on some mines. If he has sappers, no he doesn't. That's rather bold. Rushing instead straight for the armour. And getting ready for the Cromwell tank. My goodness, he's really pushing on with the armoured assault. Really 7th Armoured Division, although in the beginning it was rather cautious. Having thought, I believe, that its time for war was over, that it has done its part, and so was rather reluctant for quite a bit until some more energetic officers were put in place. That happened after the Battle of Villers-Bocage, where Michael Wittmann gave the 7th Armoured Division quite a thrashing you wouldn't believe. Cromwell hitting the field. A cruiser tank was also used as a reconnaissance tank in the British Armoured Division, which of course meant that some armoured divisions would in fact have a lot more tanks than most other divisions, since of course they would be replacing the Stuarts, and so they would have an awful lot of Cromwells. And there we go. Pattonslayer shifting the axis of attack, realizing this is a pretty terrible spot. What does he do then? Attack where the mortar can't hit, and of course where the British probably aren't expecting it for the moment. That's good. That's realizing this isn't working. He's just going to be banging his head into a wall. What does he do then? Shift the axis of attack, find the spot where it's going to work, and do some maximum damage, as of course the British will then be forced out of his positions, his safe place, and of course right into the arms of the Wehrmacht, ready to crush the life out of them. They are British. Volkswagen is advancing in the north. MG42 opening up. Bren carrier moving in. Panzerdivision flying but misses. The pack's not close enough to support though this building. This is a bit unfortunate. Rifle grenadiers getting hit. Pack needs to move forward. There we go. And might also want to uncloak it so it moves faster. Panzerdivision flying through the air but still not doing much. Rifle grenadiers getting hit down. Volkswagen is taking some of the fire, it seems. A lot of the fire, in fact, as the high explosive shell from the Cromwell. We did not see the laws of physics being broken there, ladies and gentlemen. That did not happen. Pack though ready. Opens up on the British armour, knocking out the Stuart. That's a bloody good hit there. Although I'm sure the British commanders disagree. Cromwell getting right out of there as it's being lit up by the red light of its former comrade. This is of course a rather nice effect there in the game. Rifle Grenadiers once more getting hit by the LMG-42. Grenadiers dual equipped with Panzerdivision. Again, this is not the sort of thing I like to see. But there you go. Of course, could be of help if the British armour does decide to rush, pulling back towards the pack. Panzerdivision rockets flying. Volksgrenadiers continuing to do the work in the north. Stormtroopers now arriving on the field. The 21st Panzer Division, perhaps calling upon some more veteran elements, or could be calling in some troops of the 12th SS, which of course is the more likely thing, since of course the Stormtroopers are sort of there to represent SS Panzer Grenadiers. Not directly said, but it's rather written between the lines if you read the manual. Cromwell on the move, doing its best. Piat sappers getting hit, but those Volksgrenadiers are looking awfully squishy without armor's anti-tank support. And oh dear, Cromwell will be opening up fire or not. Grenadiers moving in, ready to unload their Panzerdivision load. There we go. Dual hit, doing quite a bit of damage to the Cromwell. The Panzerdivision Whooper doing a bit of damage. Sappers pinned down. Rifle Grenadiers also getting pinned down. Volksgrenadiers charging in with MP40s, ready to do some damage. And these sappers are forced away. Cromwell not looking good, but no, the Grenadiers are blown to bits, dropping a Panzerdivision. That's very unfortunate. That's of course one of the reasons you don't dual equip it like that, partly because then you might lose both Panzerdivisions in an instant, or there's of course also the increased chance of dropping a Panzerdivision. That's sort of the dual problem of that. Strategic point here being seized. That's the last thing the German rather has on this side of the conflict zone. Volksgrenadiers charging through here. Stormtroopers hanging about, picking up that Panzerdivision. Good job there. And Volksgrenadiers charging ahead without any support. Not entirely sure why he's doing that. In fact, now he's getting absolutely hit from all sides by machine guns of all sorts, forcing a retreat rather swiftly, and some casualties for absolutely no again. That was a bit odd. But pushing through here in the north. Stormtroopers moving through here for some reason. And we are seeing a Staghound hitting the field. No Cromwell command tanks to sort of boost the effectiveness of the British tanks. And coming under fire from the pack, but it skirts around it with its speed. And this pack though looks like it's going to be cleared out in seconds by all of this fire. And there we go. Pack is lost. Pioneers forced back as well here in the north. Again, another unsupported attack. Not entirely sure why. Now he's getting a Puma, though his opponent has a lot of armor that could easily deal with that. MG42 getting cleared out. Oh dear. Oh dearie me. There we go, cleared up. Stormtroopers charging in. Doing nothing. Puma moving in through here, opening up on the recon section inside there. Stormtroopers retreating into the building, hiding from the Staghound. Puma doing its best right here. Coming under mortar fire though. You might want to be careful about that. Volksgun is moving in here, exposing this small bit or exploiting this small opening in the British defenses. And now the Puma's engine is damaged by the mortar rounds. Of course, mortars can do damage against armored and heavy armored cars. More stormtroopers hitting the field. Staghound getting out of there, having taken quite a bit of damage from the Panzer equipped stormtroopers, but now Rifle Grenadiers are moving in. Another Staghound hitting the field from the south. Oh dear. Although there's stormtroopers there, there's nothing that can really stop it. Now the Staghound opening up on the Puma, and these stormtroopers don't have any anti-tank assets. Oh dear, they've fallen into a trap. Numerous Staghounds and a Cromwell. Stormtroopers are forced to stormtrooper out of there. Stormtroopers now being in a heavy firefight here. A bundle grenade could do the trick if he does it, but no, he retreats, taking too much damage and too many casualties. 2 stormtroopers are down. And the British advance once more for King George, racing the Union jet wherever they can. Puma getting repaired, and something's on the way from the Sturm Armory.
The storage facility is being overrun.
So there you go. Good show from the British so far. Casualty clearing station, no? Yes, there we go. And of course a mortar pit, good with some emplacement, good with a strong point. Although he is keeping his flanks a bit awfully undefended. Looks like the Germans are preparing for another assault and putting up a observation post on this fuel point. And these Volksgrenadiers are coming under fire now, getting charged, but no, the lieutenant is at the front. I mean, I know leading by example is good, but not right into the arms of the Volksgrenadiers with MP40s. That was just stupid. So there we go, 1 lieutenant less, and those Piets are not looking good. A small victory for the German commander with 1 lieutenant less to hope. And looks like we are seeing the Geschützwagen, of course. There we go, not the Marder 1, as again I've seen some call it. It was a Geschützwagen, it was a sort of assault gun. I know the name was a bit more complicated, but it was not a Marder 1. Stormtroopers with Panzer. This Cromwell is looking awfully damaged, and this Geschützwagen is not moving ahead, but there we go. Opening up with this Pack 40 on this Cromwell, doing quite a bit of damage. This could be the opening that the German commander has been looking for, that Pattonslayer has been looking for in his quest to undo the 7th Armored Division. Cromwell is down. Another Cromwell is here, but if that Geschützwagen gets a good shot off, and looks like a counter-attack is moving in from the north. Pioneers firing back, but they need help from that Puma. Come on, Mr. Puma. Stormtroopers moving in. Geschützwagen facing off against the Cromwell, knocking out the main gun. Bren gunners being killed by the Puma, but these Pioneers need to get out of there quickly. There we go. Cromwell out of control. That is 2 pieces of armor out for the British. Good show there. That's certainly going to help up things a bit. And now the Staghound shall be the target of the wrath of the Geschützwagen. Veterans who won up, which is good, although the Geschützwagen is a lot more vulnerable than the Stug it replaces. And in fact, this was meant as a replacement for the Stug, due to a lack of equipment by, at the time, the 21st Panzer Division was put together. It also had to do with a large bunch of French tanks for training purposes. And in fact, it didn't even get its Panther Regiment. It only had to do with, well, Panzer Force. And rear heads by Piets. Oh dear, this Geschützwagen is awfully banged up. And Veterans 2 could have been of help, so that was given the MG42, which really increases the firepower of the Geschützwagen. Stu 42 moving in, opening up, and the Staghound hits a mine. Good show there. Stu 42 now arriving on the field, ignoring this, opening up on these British troops down south, knocking out 3 sappers with 1 shot. That's absolutely jolly good. Staghound out of control, but not before it knocks out the Geschützwagen.
Germans are now at 300.
A bit unfortunate there, although he can still salvage the wreckage for munitions. That is in fact possible now after the patch. And plus there's this Staghound, of course, so plenty of munitions there. And in fact, Mr. Planesarecrashing has an excessive amount of munitions, but apparently he's not using them. Stu 42 opening up here, surviving shots from the Stu Piats to the front. In particular due to Veterans 1, which just increased damage again. And now Volksgrenadiers and Stormtroopers are moving in support. Sappers taking awful lot of damage. 1 Sapper team in fact might be cut down. Yes, there we go, down a Piat. In fact, artillery being called in. Dear, 1 Sapper makes it out of there. And some other chaps. Piat is in fact dropped down but not picked up. And the Stu 42 dodges the artillery fire as well. Staghound still hanging about. No further armor. In fact, that was the only Cromwell, and apparently hasn't been replacing it. And still hasn't any. Oh dear, that was a bit of nasty friendly fire from the Stu 42. Be careful with that. Staghound still doing quite a nice job holding the Volksgrenadiers left back. And the Stu 42 bombarding the cafe. Not doing much there. And the British medics are pulling back the wounded. And I do believe it's time for the mid-game analysis. Of course, currently the situation is the British are in fact holding most of the map, but they just have suffered some heavy armored losses to the Geschützwagen and its stormtrooper attendants. And they are in fact making a bit of progress here, securing this victory point, while this one has been retaken by the British. A bit unfortunate there. And of course the British are still holding the centre with quite a vengeance. They have a casualty clearing station, they have a mortar pit, and they still have a Staghound and a Brenker, although both are heavily damaged. I do believe in fact something's underway from somewhere. Getting a Firefly there to put the fear of the 7th Armoured into the Germans. Good show there. Although question is, what can he do? He suffered some rather heavy losses all of a sudden. 2 tanks and a sapper team. That's quite a bit of manpower to lose in 1 or 2 engagements. That's not good at all. And he certainly could perhaps have done a bit better, perhaps setting up some emplacement here or here to sort of guard against any sort of maneuvers in the open, or of course could also have taken this pack, but he seems to have forgotten about it, which is a bit odd. That could really have boosted his anti-tank firepower as well, but perhaps he wasn't expecting the Germans to hit with such a vengeance, the 21st to lead such a charge, which was certainly a good thing. Of course, now Mr. Pattonslayer, of course, has his chance to really break through here, but of course, where will he? Will he be trying through here again? Well, there, who knows? But he really needs to break through as swiftly as possible and need to inflict some more heavy losses. Perhaps knock out that Staghound and this Brent carrier and really get the upper hand then. And perhaps knock out the central point and really get the advantage then, in which case he might be actually be holding the situation together. Armor Veterancy 2 would not be a bad idea, or Infantry Veterancy 2. Although would be good for the Stu 42 and the Geschützwagens. That would mean machine guns. For the infantry, that will mean elite armor for the stormtroopers, and for the Volksgrenadiers, a bit of small bonuses here and there. But let us return to the action. Let us see what will happen. Stu 42 still blasting away at the cafe. And it looks like this mortar pit is a bit exposed. Unless, of course, the Stu 42 continues to hit the cafe. Perhaps there's some sort of secret message. The Stu 42 wants coffee, I don't know. Opening up on the mortar pit, doing quite a bit of damage there with its first hit. The Stu 42 quite excellent in clearing up British emplacements. Second shot, and there we go. The mortar emplacement is no more. And the only thing holding the situation right here now is some British infantry. Stu 42 charges in, opens up. Staghound fires at the side of the Stu 42, and it quickly pulls out of there. Not wanting... Oh, does it want to drive further into this hornet's nest? Veterans 2 for infantry on the way. Good show. Volksgrenadiers is continuing in the east, although being intercepted by some rifle grenadiers there. Killing a few few Brits there, but the Staghound is in fact doing a bit of damage to the Stu 42, and now Semois with Piats are moving in. Get out of there, Stu. Get out of there. You cannot survive this. Bren Gunners now opening up, hoping to button down the vehicle and of course allow the Sappers to get closer, but no, the Stu 42 retreats just as the Volksgrenadiers advance. At the same time, we are seeing the stormtroopers down here getting engaged by these Volksgrenadiers. A good bundle grenade could do the trick here, or some assault grenades. He certainly has the ability since he has Blitzkrieg. Volksgrenadiers charging through here, opening up on these Sappers there with full fury and vengeance. Sappers getting torn to bits. Oh dear, he needs to retreat rather swiftly, and looks like these Brent Gunners in fact also getting torn apart by the Volksgrenadiers from a distance. Looks like the Stormtroopers are forced away by the Sapper and Firefly combination, while the Stormtroopers are continuing their work right here in the center. This Staghound is still looking awfully damaged. Stu 42 in dire need of repairs as well. And there we go, Panzerfaust right through the Staghound, knocking it out, and Volksgrenadiers retreating. Looks like a full infantry section will be recovered by this casualty clearing station. That's certainly going to be already justifying costs there. Sappers moving in from the south. Stu 42 exposed, but it dodges the shots. That was rather fortunate there. And now the Firefly is on the field. In fact, another Staghound is on the field. He seems rather keen on those Staghounds. Not sure why, but it's not for me to answer. Pioneers getting ready, grabbing their gear, and another Geschützwagen hitting the field. The 21st Panzer Division calling on further of its assault guns. Also, the 21st Panzer Division actually had some rather curious looking half-tracks, since it was in fact converted French half-tracks. It was using, they looked a bit fun, sort of shorter than the Sonderkraftfahrzeug 251, or the Mittler Schützenpanzerwagen. My apologies. Oh dear, and a mine. That's certainly a good use of munitions there, in particular since Pattonslayer seems keen on bunching up his troops. Rifle grenades flying in as well. Stormtroopers advancing, picking up a Piat. Rifle grenades and Piat rounds hitting them. No munitions being thrown back at the bridges though, although these MP40 equipped Volksgrenadiers are doing their best. Stormtroopers getting into the building. Panzerx and Piats able to do a bit of damage, but commando artillery hits this position. Miraculously, the Stormtroopers seem to be all surviving. That was rather fortunate. Oh, there we go. Stormtroopers getting out of there as a Staghound moves in from the south. Oh dear, Stormtroopers retreat. Retreat, Stormtroopers. And we are seeing the Stu 42 fully repaired Geschützwagens are ready. In fact, we are talking plural Geschützwagens, not one. And the large infantry force moving through here. And the Stu 42 was about to expose its rear. That's bad. But there we go, opening up. Killing quite a few Bren Gunners right there. And the Geschützwagens moving in. Opening up as well, although they aren't good against infantry without those machine guns. And a hiccup. Firefly opening up as well. Targeting the main threat, the Stu 42, which is of course the more lethal unit against British infantry. The Geschützwagen is not doing much at range. Stu 42 blasting away though, killing 3 right there. Good shot, good shot. And continues to blast away. Lieutenant not looking too happy about that, since he's awfully close to where the fire's hitting, and he's charging in the Stu 42 for some reason. Doing a bit of damage there, and the Firefly gets hit by the Geschützwagens, although a trick might be to cloak those Stormtroopers and then move them in, but no. Oh dear, that could actually have done the work for him. And now artillery being called in on the German positions. Volksgrenadiers lit up by the fire and now getting out there as artillery moves in. And yes, indeed, huge splashes of water and dirt. And the Geschützwagen doing their best to get out of this mess. Although there seems to be a sort of bit of spot of road trouble there, but there we go, getting out of there and getting away. Looks like Pattonslayer. Oh dear, why can't he just use one name? Like just something. But anyhow, moving the Geschützwagens towards the west, ready to launch another attack here once more that the British have been utterly occupied here. He's of course hitting the other spot, which is of course good strategy, good tactics. So jolly good show there. Stormtroopers getting reinforced. No medic bunker though for Pattonslayer. Pioneers securing this victory point. Not looking good in terms of victory points for Mr. Pattonslayer though, although I suppose in this game Montgomery Slayer would perhaps be better, and there we go. British commander learning from his mistakes and now sending about 17-pounder gun to sort of prevent any assaults from here. Stormtroopers finally cloaking up. And assault grenades flying through the air soon. Anti-tank rockets flying at this Firefly. Assault grenades into the trench. More assault grenades at all these British troops. Another Pioneer team is lost up there. Staghound coming under heavy fire from the Geschützwagens. British taking heavy losses. 17-pounder gun is ready. Firefly is knocked out by these rather deft 21st Panzer Division Grenadiers. Even the Volksgrenadiers could be called sort of Panzer Grenadiers by now, at least in terms of skill and severity. Having done quite a few kills, but they are forced to retreat due to the heavy firepower, but they've still done quite a bit of damage to the British right here. Good show there. Stormtroopers forcing these chaps to retreat as well. Geschützwagens holding the north now. Veterans 2 giving them machine guns. Good show. Volksgrenadiers right here still holding the line despite everything. A pride to the fatherland and the 21st Panzer Division. The 21st Panzer Division actually was designated as a sort of elite division, which also gave it the right to have a sort of armband, or was it handcuff? I can't remember the bit. But it certainly actually had the name 21st Panzer Division written on it. It was a rare honor to have divisions, although every SS division actually had that. And now we are seeing commandos joining in. Finally, it would seem as British love using those commandos, although this seems a bit late. Let's in fact go switch over to Planesarecrashing. Now the Geschützwagens are charging in. Guns blazing, opening up on the Sherman Firefly. 2 Geschützwagens against the Firefly with their Pack 40s. This could be the end for the Firefly. Despite its 17-pounder, its armor is not built to withstand the power of the Pack 40. There we go. Firefly is gone, and the British will have to hold out against these 2 Geschützwagen with their light machine guns, which in fact can do quite a bit of damage to the British troops. Now Stormtroopers are moving in from the south as well. Looks like the British might be forced to abandon their positions. And what is this? Tiger Panzer moving in. The 101st SS Schwere Panzer Abteilung joining in for the fun with some heavy armor. This is really going to ruin the day of the Brits. Although these commanders are still having a bit of fun here in the south, having forced those stormtroopers away. But now Volksgrenadiers are moving in with the MP4 displacing. Those commanders are still out in the open though. There we go, Volksgrenadiers moving in. Grenade flying through the windows at the commandos. Commandos get out, but one is still lost. Stormtroopers retreating. Volksgrenadiers doing the best, but their commanders are simply too many with their Sten guns and tearing through the Volksgrenadiers. The Sten gun, of course, being a rather nice gun, and even the Wehrmacht forces would use it themselves, and of course the magazine was at the side, which of course allowed for better firing when crouched or prone. Now the Tigers moving in against those commandos, and if those commandos make one wrong move, they are going to be tiny bits on the ground. There we go. Tiger opening up. The commandos are retreating, and the Tiger misses. That was some fortunate commandos right there. How much infantry does he have left, Mr. Pattonslayer? Looks like he's down to 2 infantry teams, 2 Geschützwagens, and a Tiger. That's a bit unfortunate. He really needs more infantry, but looks like some Pioneers on the way. Tetrox being called in from the air now. I'm not entirely sure as to the wisdom of this against a Tiger. He is upgrading in those with the Little John adapter, which does increase penetration and in fact would allow it to damage the Tiger, I believe. But at the same time, if the Tiger catches it right in the front, it's of course going to be knocked out. And if those Geschützwagens are nearby, that Tetrox is toast. It might as well then be a self-propelled coffin for all that matters. British look like to be digging in here. Little John adapter ready. And the British are licking their wounds. Having been finally ousted from the center, the Germans are finally moving in to seize all there is. And the Tiger setting up positions here, doing its best, opening up all the British positions right from this side of the river. Sneaky, sneaky Pattonslayer. And one can still hear the lovely British music in the background. I absolutely love that soundtrack. Commando glider still here. Now the Germans are securing the central victory point. In fact, they must finally hold all 3 victory points. Vickers machine gun emplacement coming under fire. Sappers moving in. Oh dear, too close to that commando charge. Setting it off, but no, it is not close enough to damage the Geschützwagen. Sappers moving in. Tetrarch moving in as well. Geschützwagen taking a minor bit of damage. And the Tiger and the Geschützwagen are pulling back, it seems. Although perhaps not before the Geschützwagen fires a parting shot. There we go. Biggest machine gun is knocked out. Stormtroopers here might soon come under some nasty pressure from the commandos and the recon section. And of course, you can reinforce near gliders. So that's perhaps a reason not to just throw them away so easily. They can in fact serve as forward reinforcement points for your troops.
Ready to receive your orders.
Fun bit that. And now those stormtroopers might soon come under fire. There we go. Recon section over out. Commandos opening up. Stormtroopers firing back. But not much luck there. And we are seeing an assault going off. Who will win? Apparently the stormtroopers, as these commanders will be stunned. At the same time, we are seeing a large armor engagement here. The Tiger coming under quite a bit of fire, but the Geschützwagen is firing in support with its machine gun and its gun. And the Sappers are taking a bit of damage, and probably those Bren gunners as well. And now the Tiger's pulling out. Stormtroopers managed to force away the commanders and are now assaulting once more with zeal and vigor for the fatherland. They force away the recon section as well. Assault grenades, again, very lovely ability. If used probably, but then again, it can easily be dodged, as you just saw there.
A sector is being overrun.
But still, good show, Mr. Pattonslayer. But now getting counterattacked once more by rifle grenadiers flying through the air, hitting the stormtroopers. Oh dear, nothing to support them except more stormtroopers. Apparently, Pattonslayer not having confidence in the men of the 21st Panzer Division. They again could be men, just veterans. The few remaining from North Africa. Who knows? But again, 12th SS, we'll just say. Opening up here. And now forced retreat, but fresh troops are moving in, ready to help. In the meanwhile, we are seeing pioneers moving in here, ready to repair the Tiger, while some Volksgunners are holding out nearby with their MP40s, looking dashing and rather dapper. And this Geschützwagen looks like it's rather waiting for some repairs. So let's not have a look at Pattonslayer and his final moments. The British are doing absolutely nothing here. Then again, they're perhaps just trying to hold it. They can't break through here, or can they? No further fireflies though. And he seems to be just hanging about here, perhaps ready to repel any sort of German assault. Then again, basically just Pattonslayer needs to keep those tied down. And now setting up a 17-pounder gun. Could work. Then of course it can't really follow those German tanks. So of course it's not going to do much. They can just pull back to here and still cover this area. Rifle Grenadiers looking rather spiffy. And now we are seeing another Firefly, finally, moving in. While the Rifle Grenadiers are also moving out. Stormtroopers nearby, ready, getting assault rifles. Oh dear. That's only going to be a nasty surprise for those Rifle Grenadiers. And those other Stormtroopers are moving out as well. Volksgrenadiers also joining in with this assault. This final assault led by the 12th SS Hitler Jugend. Not Jugend. Hey, Hitler Jugend. No, let's not go into those sort of jokes. They're not fun. Anyhow, moving forwards. Rifle Grenadiers moving away, but no, they are getting reinforced by some reconnaissance chaps, not the commanders though. The commandos have other things to do, like hiding here with most of the British armoured forces, it seems. The remains of them, at least. Pioneers laying down mines, rather sneaky. Stormtroopers and Volksgrenadiers leading the charge, and artillery being called in on them. But they just don't care, they move through it. Right into the arms of the British, who retreat immediately, not wanting to face the seal of the 12th SS and 21st Panzer Division. Sneaky that. There we go, the British running over the hills. Or running to the hills, I suppose. Glider coming under a bit of fire. Stank car moving towards the south. We are seeing another armored car getting ready, and the Panzer Command as well. Not repairing this Geschützwagen though. Staghound moving in. Stormtroopers moving in from the south. Here, this Staghound could be caught in a trap. Might get panzerfausted. There we go. And now the Stormtroopers moving in from the south with the Panzerschreck and Piat. There we go. Volksgrenadiers taking a bit of damage. British charging in. But the anti-tank section of the Stormtroopers do not care. They continue firing away at the Staghound while the assault rifle grenade-equipped Stormtroopers now launching another assault, forcing the Brits away, leaving the Staghound awfully exposed. Now the Puma joins in as well. British hitting the mine right here. In fact, there's another right next to it. And now getting slain in huge numbers as a mine goes off right next to an 88 shell, doing extreme damage to the British. Oh dear, that was not a serious assault that went as planned at all. Perhaps going through here would have been better, but apparently he decided against it. And there we go, planes are crashing, retreats. Having decided he does not want to mess with the 21st Panzer Division anymore. Pattonslayer can claim a victory for the Reich. So, there you go. Hope you enjoyed this little fight. So, what can we learn from this? Well, I mean, we saw I think the main lesson of this is, of course, when you're running into a strong point, stop attacking it and choose another path. Sort of draw out the British the defender to his less defended positions, if he has any position there, and then of course attack him there. That is, of course, what Pattonslayer did. When the British went for that sort of choke point there, held it strongly, then Pattonslayer would shift his axis of attack in the more open ground, the farther waypoint, force the British out there, do some damage. Then when the British were strong there, attack elsewhere, and again sort of repeat it, slowly grinding him down. And then when he came in with the Geschützwagen against those Cromwells, that was a rather good shot there. He really did quite a lot of damage to the British forces right there. And then he was able to sort of build on that success slowly, although he needed to be a bit more careful with those Geschützwagen. Still, he did pretty well. And the British commander then sort of failed to repeat that. He then proceeded to sort of make some cursory attacks on the same spot instead of sort of driving for one strong attack at one spot farthest away from here where the Tigers and the Geschützwagen are. That's sort of what went against him in the long run. And of course that he didn't really use a lot of mines. He had a lot of munitions, but he didn't mine very well. And he was also a bit slow in getting those emplacements up, besides that single casualty station and the mortar pit, but that casualty station was a good move, certainly. So, there you go. I hope you enjoyed this fight. If you did, why not subscribe and tell your friends? And if you didn't, well, why not send in a replay of your own? This is Imperial Dane saying cheers.